Today we're going to turn a half gallon of milk into yogurt. Hello friends, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you're with Grammy in the kitchen. Today, you only need 2 ingredients. You need milk and you need a starter. I am using a store-bought vanilla yogurt. You don't want to use something that has flavor in it, such as strawberries or blueberries or anything like that. You really want plain yogurt or plain vanilla yogurt. So that's what we're using, is the vanilla yogurt. That is all you need. The rest of it is called thyme. So what we have to do is we have to put the milk on the stove in a pot and heat it up to 185 to 190 degrees. Then we got to let it cool down to between 110 and 115 degrees. And that's when we add our yogurt starter. Whisk that in very well. Let it sit a minimum of 12 hours. The maximum could be as long as you want, because the longer it sits, the more tangy it will be. I'm actually starting this around 9:30 at night and let it sit overnight in a warm place. So I'll wrap it up with a couple towels to keep it nice and hot. Now there is a way to make it in an Instant Pot, but I personally find that takes a little bit longer. But we're going to do it stovetop today, and the next time we'll make it in the Instant Pot. So it is 9:30. We're going to go ahead and get started. Aprons on. Let's make some yogurt. So I'm using the very large enamel coated Dutch oven. Use any kind of milk. It could be a 2% or a whole milk. Skim milk will not work very well because you need the high protein in the milk. But this is an A2 all natural milk. Now when you're heating up milk, this is something you do not want to walk away from, because once milk gets to the boiling point, there's no stopping it and it will overflow. So this is something you have to stay close. You have to keep an eye on it. Want to make sure you give it a stir every now and then, just to keep it from scorching to the bottom. Now this is going to be cold milk, but I'm just going to tell you what our starting temperature is. Okay, we are at 60 degrees, and we need to get it to between 185 to 190 degrees. I will keep track of the time, but every stove is going to be different, but I'll keep track of time and let you know how long it takes to get to that temperature. It's been 15 minutes and we're at 180. Okay, we're calling it 185. Burner off. I'm going to move it over to the other side. Now we're just going to let it cool down until it reaches 110 to 115 degrees. So I'm just stirring it so that the milk will be consistently the same temperature all the way through. And we are at 110 degrees. And that took 35 minutes to cool down from 185 to 110. Now when you are using a store-bought yogurt, you want to make sure it has live active ingredients or bacteria in there. And it's just a cheap Kroger brand vanilla yogurt. So we're going to go ahead and dump this whole 6-ounce container in here. I do have 2 towels on the top. If you have an oven that has a pilot light, you can actually just put it in the oven just like this. But I have 2 towels, one going long way and then one's going cross way. I'm going to give this a little stir. Now the milk has to be between 110 and 115 degrees. Anything cooler than 110, the bacteria that we have added to this milk will not incubate. If it's higher than 150, it will kill the bacteria. All right, so right now we have milk with a little yogurt in there. So we'll give you a visual. So it's just plain milk. I'm putting the lid on. Now we're going to wrap it up in the 2 towels. I'm just trying to hold in that heat so it can incubate. I'm going to leave the milk with the yogurt starter in the enamel coated cast iron skillet wrapped up in these 2 towels overnight. It is now 10:30 p.m. Tomorrow morning we'll check for the consistency of the yogurt. When we wake up in the morning, we'll check the yogurt, we'll taste it, see if it's at the tanginess we want. I like super tangy yogurt. So after 10 hours, we'll check it, and if we need to, we'll leave it in here for a little longer, or we'll call it quits. So you have a good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Hello friends, it's now the next day. Our yogurt has been sitting on this island wrapped in 2 towels overnight. Now we're going to go ahead and unwrap it. Let's see if we have yogurt. We have yogurt. Now at this stage you can strain it and make a thicker yogurt, but I'm just going to leave this just like this. I am going to sweeten it and flavor it. I'm going to put some homemade vanilla, and I'm sweetening it with maple syrup. But before I do anything, I want to take some out so we can have a starter for the next time. So I have a small glass jar that the funnel does not fit. Oh, it smells good. Now I'm going to save this for the starter for the next time you need to make yogurt. You'll never have to buy a starter again. I put 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Now as this sits in the refrigerator, it will thicken up a little bit more. Now we're going to taste it for flavoring and sweetness. Whoa. How I miss yogurt so much. I have 2 wide mouth quart-sized mason jars. That's what I'm going to store mine in. Alright, so let me break the cost down for this. The half gallon of milk that I bought, now you can use any milk of your choice, but I decided to use the A2 milk in this refundable jar. But I like the jar, so I probably won't refund this unless I buy another half gallon of milk. Now this was a little expensive, but you can use whole milk or you could use 2%, either one. But this milk was $4.79. The yogurt I bought as the starter was 60 cents, but we don't have to buy starter anymore because we saved some unflavored, unsweetened yogurt to be our starter. So now we have starter for the next time. So I ended up spending $5.39 at the grocery store. But I got 2 quarts plus just a little bit more than 1/4 cup. So we'll say 1/3 of a cup. So we'll say we have 2 quarts and 5 ounces. So altogether I have 69 ounces. So that is less than 8 cents an ounce. So this quart cost me $2.49. Compare that to a quart size of yogurt at the grocery store and see if that's a savings for you. Now because I did use a higher quality milk, my cost is a little higher. But if you can use conventional milk from the grocery store at a cheaper rate, then by all means, please do it. And then your cost will actually be less. I did add some vanilla and some maple syrup, but I'm not going to count that into the cost because I buy the maple syrup from As Your Standard and I buy it by the gallon. So it's literally just going to be pennies. The vanilla I make myself with vanilla beans and some high quality liquor or alcohol. So it's literally just going to be pennies for me also. But you can add this to some granola. I have a video on how to make granola on this channel. You can add this, you can add some homemade or store-bought preserves like strawberries. You could put fresh berries in here if that's what your kids and yourself like. Add some berries. But even though we use a conventional yogurt starter, it's a very small amount in each one of these. And the more you make it and you use your own starter, the quality will even get better and better depending on the milk you use. So to recap, it took me 15 minutes to get this milk up to 185 to 190 degrees, and it took 30 minutes for it to cool down back to between 110 to 115 degrees. That's when we added our store-bought yogurt as a yogurt starter. We mixed that in very well, and then we wrapped it up in 2 towels, left it on the counter overnight. Mine's been sitting for 12 hours. And then we got it this morning. We made sure we took out our starter first, and then we added our flavoring, which in my case was vanilla, and you add your sweetener, which in my case was maple syrup. You can sweeten it with sugar if you like. You can sweeten it with honey, but honey, room temperature honey going into cold ingredients will not mix very well. So that's why I stick with the maple syrup. Then I put them in mason jars and just going to stick it in the refrigerator. I'm going to leave it in the refrigerator for about 5 hours, and I'll bring you right back and show you the consistency of the yogurt at that time. So the yogurt has been in the refrigerator for 8 hours. If you want to make a thicker yogurt to start with, you can always add some powdered milk. Just rehydrate the powdered milk in with the milk, then bring it to the 180, 190 degrees. That will make your yogurt thicker without having to strain it. I didn't do that this time. I just wanted to show y'all the basic way of making yogurt. Now this yogurt only has vanilla and maple syrup in it. It's perfect. Do you see? It's not too runny, but it's just perfect. I absolutely love yogurt. Do you make your own yogurt? Do you plan on making your own yogurt? Leave a comment below and let us know if you make yogurt and how you make it. Do you make it stovetop or do you make it in the Instant Pot? The next time we make yogurt, we're going to make it in the Instant Pot just to compare the two. But I personally prefer the stovetop method. If you find any value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe. We would love to have you part of the Grammy family. So until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye, friends.